Now, it's important to make sure you keep yourself up to date with all of the information that you have in your classes, your assignments, your events, things that are happening. And one of the best ways to do that is by using Google Calendar. Your Google Calendar has its own dedicated app. Looks like this. When I tap to open it, if you haven't logged in yet, it will ask you to add your Google account. I tell it to sign in. You log in with your Google account, just like you've done in other apps. And then once you've logged in, you'll have an option to get started. It's going to ask if you want Google Calendar to send you notifications. I would allow. That will simply remind you when you have things coming up or things that are due. Now, the first couple pages are simply pages to show you how to use Calendar, show you some of the features of Calendar. You can go ahead and swipe through and click Got It. And this is what my calendar looks like. Now, if I need to add an event to my calendar, there is a plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner. When I hit the plus sign, I can either add an event, a reminder, or a goal. Most of the time, you are going to do what's called an event. I can allow locations. And for an event, I would simply click and type in a title of my event for my event, and then I get a few other options here. So at is locations. So if I need to add a location, I could do that, and I can choose to add a specific location to my test. With would be other people that I can invite to this. If I needed to share other people, I can simply hit with and then find other names to be able to invite them with. Or on is a specific day and time. So if the test is tomorrow, I can hit tomorrow or today. I can choose the time that goes with it. And then go ahead and click done. If it's an all-day event, it doesn't have a specific time. I can turn that on. All right. I can also tap on this time if I need to adjust to get real specific to a time. I can do that. Under more options, I could choose whether or not this is going to repeat. So if I want this to repeat every day, every week, every month, so maybe you do the same thing every 2 weeks in a class, I could go ahead and add that event and tell it to repeat every 2 weeks. All right, by default, it's going to give me a notification 10 minutes before. I can tap and change that if I want. I can change the default color of my event if I want. I can even add notes if I want, or add attachments directly from my drive to go right onto this calendar event. Google is even smart enough that if in my event title I just simply typed in science test on Friday at 8 a.m., it would automatically add an event, call it science test, make the date set to Friday and the time set to 8 a.m. So when I'm done, I click save, and now this event has been saved to my calendar. So that's great for adding events, but chances are your teachers have already added a whole bunch of events that you might be interested in. And so the easiest way to get to them is by simply going to Safari, and you're going to go to the Holman website. So if I go to holman.psdr3.org, there's a link at the top for calendars. Now when I tap on calendars, it's going to take me to a page with a whole bunch of calendars on it. From this page, you'll find a variety of calendars that you can subscribe to. So, for example, on this main page, there is a building calendar. The building calendar is all the days off that we have, days off school, early dismissal days, etc. So if I want to subscribe to this calendar, I simply hit the plus Google Calendar button in the bottom right-hand corner of that calendar, and it will now subscribe me to this calendar. It says, do I want to add it? I simply click add. Tells me about the new calendar. I got it. And now I have a building calendar subscribed to. It shows up under my calendars over here on the left-hand side. I can't make changes to it. I can't delete it, but anytime I'm done looking at it, I can hit this little checkbox to hide or show this calendar if I want. Now, to get to other calendars, from my calendars page, if I hit the 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner, I will see calendars for 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, all my math teachers, electives, and SSD. So if I tapped on 6th grade, I would see 6 North and 6 South homework calendars. And again, if I wanted to subscribe to one, I simply hit the plus Google Calendar button in the corner, and it will now ask me, do I want to add it? I hit add, and it has now added this calendar or subscription to this calendar to my account. Now if I hit the home button to go back, so now if I go back to my Google Calendar icon and tap on that, you'll notice I don't see my calendars yet. Nothing shows up. Well, if I hit the 3 lines in the upper left-hand corner again, I have these check marks that I can check to turn these calendars off and on. So when I turn these calendars on, all my events will now show up in my calendar. I also have different views of that calendar. So I'm looking at week view right now. I could switch to month view, which shows me the entire month at a glance. Swipe back and forth to go from month to month. Or again, if I go to week view, I can swipe back and forth to go from week to week. Or same thing in day to day as I go through it. So that's how you use Google Calendar.